Welcome back to Cadwell Park. It's round 3 of the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB, the 6th race that we've had over the course of the season. 2 at Alton Park, won by Gareth Howell, 2 at Silverstone, Stefan Hodgetts, Ben Winrow doing the winning, and Stefan Hodgetts won race 1 and leads race 2 here in Lincolnshire. We're almost into the final third of this 30-minute race. Hodgetts leads the way, Ben Winrow is in 2nd place, and Charlie Butler-Henderson is 3rd. And Gareth Howell we have lost from the race early on, because at the end of just the opening lap he limped into the pit lane with a problem. So Gareth Howell, I'm afraid to say, is a retirement. That's bad news for him in the championship, and good news here is a great little battle raging on, going up towards Chris Kerr, getting it all wrong there and sliding off the road. That looked like it might have been Josh Wakefield. Went diving up the inside of Matt Shedd's car. It is Josh Wakefield who is back onto the road now, but that, I'm afraid, has cost him a place. So what he was trying to do, brake as late as he possibly could, going up towards the right-hander, but he just braked too late and ran out of road. Here's the replay of it. Went for a gap. By the time he'd got the gap, he was just far too late to slow the car down. Braked as hard as he possibly could. Very nearly lost the back of it. Had to come off the throttle, try and control everything. He was way out in the weeds. And so Josh Wakefield sorts himself out, rejoins, but having lost a place. And there is Charlie Butler-Henderson. He's 3rd in the race at the moment. He was 3rd yesterday. And all of this consistency means that he's set to leave Cadwell Park as the championship leader. Big lock-up there from Stefan Hodgetts, the man that's in charge for the moment. Can ill afford to do things like that, because that will only abuse the tyres. And of course you've got the same set of tyres for the weekend, so you've got to look after them. In 2nd place, Ben Winrow still chasing after the Midlander, but Stefan Hodgetts looks very strong indeed at the moment. The Mardi Gras Motorsport car leading the Pyro Motorsport car at the moment. All the top teams have gravitated towards the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB this year. And Stefan Hodgetts, very, very competent driver as well. Whatever you put him in these days, he goes well. Very versatile, very adaptable driver. His father, Chris Hodgetts, the British touring car champion in the 1980s, back-to-back titles, 86 and 87 were won by Chris. Stefan Hodgetts now sprints along the short straight, then takes him towards the approach to the mountain. Sets the car up now for the braking area. There behind him is Ben Winrow in 2nd place, and Ben, I suspect, a little bit frustrated about all of this, because, as I said earlier on, he was many people's tip for the title this year. He was not being able to match Stefan Hodgetts for pace here. He's well clear of everybody else, granted, but he cannot do much about Hodgetts. Turns his way up now towards the hairpin, down towards Barn Corner, out of which Stefan Hodgetts will turn in a moment up towards the start and finish line once again. And this round of the championship supporting the MCE Insurance British Superbikes, which means that there's an enormous crowd here at Cadwell Park, and a very different audience to perform in front of as well. It's good to see that many of them have stayed to the end of the day to watch the car race action, something that they're not used to. But for the teams and drivers to perform in front of such big crowds and a different audience as well really has been a major boost for them all weekend. The Abarths, granted, are a support race, but that's not to suggest that they're not being given a good reception by the bikers. Lappery about to take place here, because Cassie Watson is going to be lapped by the race leader as she heads up the hill. So Stefan Hodgetts now working his way through the traffic, but I don't think he's going to have too many other markers to worry about. It's just that Cassie's car is running a little bit slower than others. Cadwell Park, a circuit that not many of these drivers have raced at before. As I said earlier, not many of the promoted packages come and race here, so if you go straight from karting into, as Cassie did, for example, Janetta Junior racing, then this is going to be something of a baptism of fire, Cadwell Park. She was laps adrift in yesterday's race as well. She ended up 3 laps behind the race winner, so still adapting to the circuit, and perhaps also that car of Cassie Watson's not going quite as well as it normally does. The Luna racing car normally is to be found in midfield rather than struggling at the back, as it has done this weekend. Stefan Hodgetts then, up through the Hall bends, getting a little bit more gung-ho with the curbing there, trying to straight line the corners and get the optimum lap time out of all of this. He's already done the fastest lap of the race, as indeed he did yesterday. In yesterday's race he did a 1:39.5. In this, the best he's done so far is a 1:40, so he's a little bit slower today, but as long as Stefan Hodgetts maintains the race lead, that's really what he's after. Identical cars, don't forget, everyone has the same car as the base model, the Abarth 500. A set, of course, with the 1400cc turbocharged engine, and these pocket rockets make their way across the line with the order up front being the same. In other words, Stefan Hodgetts leading Ben Winrow, and Charlie Butler-Henderson is in 3rd place. Now there is Cassie Watson, the car that's indicating to keep out of the way of CBH, because she's about to be lapped, so Charlie will charge around the outside. Makes his way now through Charlie's, and And CBH, as I say, set to be the championship leader at the end of the race, assuming things stay as they are. And that is very good news indeed for him. So Charlie Battle-Henderson then, in third place, accelerates his way uphill. It doesn't look as though he's now going to be able to catch the two ahead of him, but he is still, in turn, a long way clear of the gaggle behind, headed now by Paul Smith, who's worked his way through with Matt Shed chasing after him. We've got, what, less than 4 minutes on the clock. CBH sets the car up for the top of the hill through the double apex right-hander. In the meantime, Stefan Hodgetts sprints his way along the short straight up towards the mountain. And Stefan, likewise, now under no pressure. All he's got to do is just make sure he gets himself to the finish now, because Ben Winrow is too far back to be a real threat. Stefan Hodgetts turning his way through the mountain sequence of the circuit. And then up towards the Hall Bends once again. The Fiat Marylebone entry looking good for not only its third win of the season, but its second win of the weekend. And that's great news for Stefan Hodgetts. He may have missed the first two races at Alton, but he really is now becoming a big, big factor as far as the championship is concerned. And the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB doesn't just confine itself to one package. It's been with Formula 3, it's supported Formula 2, it's this weekend running with Superbikes. It goes to the Silverstone Classic. It will also support DTM at Brands Hatch in September on the Indy circuit, which will be a great venue for these little cars. Over the line then goes Stefan Hodgetts. You can see lap by lap he's just creeping away from Ben Winrow. Hodgetts out on his own now. Trying not to abuse the tyres too much, but clear of Ben Winrow in second place. Charlie Battle-Henderson running third. But the one driver who will leave here very disappointed is Gareth Howell, fourth in race one, but a retirement in race two, and that's going to be a big knock for him in the championship. 2.5 minutes still on the clock, as Stefan Hodgetts then turns his way around the top of Cadwell Park. It's a circuit that he has very fond memories of, and they'll be even fonder after this weekend with 2 race wins, assuming nothing nasty befalls him. It was a mechanical problem that stopped him in his tracks at Silverstone in race 2, having looked so strong. But really, this weekend, he has shown a clean pair of heels, as they say, to Ben Winrow. Ben unable to get onto terms with Hodgetts, who drops down through Mansfield Corner now. Makes the run up towards the mountain once again. 2 more minutes. They're going to get, what, this lap and 1 more out of the race, I would suggest. We'll know for definite when Stefan goes across the timing line. We'll see how much time there is left in the race relative to where he is on the track. It looks as though it might just be 1 more at the end of this, as Hodgetts turns his way with a bit of a lock-up this time through the Hall Bends. Got a bit carried away there. Stood on the anchors, got the car back under control, so you can tell he's still pushing on. It will be the last lap this time around for him. There's now less than a lap time left in the race. So Stefan Hodgetts then through Barn Corner up towards the start of the last lap. They got 18 laps in yesterday, same again today. So through he goes, Stefan Hodgetts over the line. Ben Winrow in second. He's going to have to settle for points now, because he's not going to be able to do anything at all about the man that leads the way. And Stefan Hodgetts is still flinging the car around, still giving his tyres a hard time. All these cars run on Michelin rubber. As he makes the run now up towards Chris Curve once again. Stefan Hodgetts is, what, 2/3 of a lap or so now away from a third race win of the season. Into the last minute of the race, the checkered flag will be out this time. It is a timed race. It's not a set number of laps, so the checkered flag goes out the first time the race leader comes through once 30 minutes have elapsed, and 18 laps will be rattled off by Stefan Hodgetts, who turns his way now downhill, heading towards the Gooseneck and then down towards Mansfield. Behind, Charlie Battle-Henderson still third, Paul Smith looking good for 4th place, and then you've got Matt Shed and the recovering Josh Wakefield in 5th and 6th places. Fiona Leggett is the best of the girls at the moment, ahead of Cassie Watson. Fiona Leggett, who raced for a while in the British Touring Car Championship, once again set to be victorious in the Coupe des Dames. But Stefan Hodgetts comes towards the mountain for the last time. He's absolutely dominated the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB this weekend. And as he makes the run up now towards the Hall Bends once again, Ben Winrow trailing in his wake, set for 2nd place. Stefan Hodgetts comes up towards the hairpin. It's going to be a 3rd race win, and you can see he's got this winning lark in his genes. His father was very quick in clubman's racing initially, and then in touring car racing for many, many years, and even in TVR Tuscans, Chris Hodgetts was a champion. Well, now up towards the start and finish line and a race win. Stefan Hodgetts makes it 2 out of 2 in the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB at Cadwell Park. His team is delighted, so too is Stefan Hodgetts. There for 2nd place across the line comes Ben Winrow, and 3rd is going to be the man who will now become the championship leader. Charlie Battle-Henderson is set for 3rd place. Headlights ablaze. He turns his way now out of Barn Corner, and Charlie is going to be absolutely over the moon about this, that's for sure. He may not yet have had a race win, but he will leave Lincolnshire as the championship leader. Well, there is the hero of the weekend, Stefan Hodgett's 2 race wins here at Cadwell Park. He comes home 3.5 seconds clear of Ben Winrow, with Charlie Butler Henderson third, Paul Smith fourth ahead of Matt Shedd, and Josh Wakefield finishes sixth.
Fantastic race, I absolutely love that. To be honest, it was half an hour and it was sweltering hot, but I wouldn't mind if that carried on for 2 hours. It's so much fun driving these little cars around this fantastic picturesque race circuit. It's immense fun, it's brilliant.
It seemed a lot longer than the one yesterday, but certainly a lot warmer. But no, a little bit more lonely. Unfortunately, for some reason, we just didn't have the front end on the car to stay with Steph, which is a bit of a shame. Although he's been quick here all weekend, so this track really seems to really suit him. He's a really aggressive little driver. I think in my style, I seem to be a lot more relaxed. So once we get back to the proper tracks, the wider tracks, I think it's really going to suit what I'm able to do and what the car's set up for as well. So good things to come, I hope.
Yeah, I don't know where we're lying now, but we were second when we came into this weekend. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened to Gareth, but he had a problem, so that was at least one out the way without being nasty. But, you know, it made life a bit easier for me, so I just tried to get my head down and get on with it, really. But fantastic fun again. Just love the track, absolutely love it. I think we were all bricking ourselves before we got here this weekend going, oh my God, what are these things going to be like? But you know what? I've loved every minute of it, and the last lap I pushed to the limit, knowing full well it was my last lap round here in one of these things.
So Charlie Butler Henderson is now 2 points clear in the lead of the championship. Ben Winrow second. He in turn moved himself up ahead of the non-finishing Gareth Howell. Josh Wakefield fourth, but Stefan Hodgett's fifth, creeping into the picture. Stefan Hodgett's the hero of the hour at Cadwell Park in the Trofeo Abarth 500 GB.